r/rules horror. Posted by u/Panasit. 12 rules to escape from a death trap building. Attention delivery driver, courier, or messenger. Sometimes our job take us to a place where danger is waiting. These rules will save your life. I was a process server in PG County, Maryland. I had to serve a subpoena at this very old office building in the middle of nowhere. The building had no one at the front desk and no security guard, only 2 elevators in the middle of a dirty blank wall. Rule 1. To get in an elevator if you don't see anyone. What if you got stuck? No one will rush up the stairs to open the door for you. This elevator was old, the kind that slides to one side instead of opening up in the middle. There was no L for lobby, and only even number floor. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Rule 2. Make sure you know which floor has an exit. Many buildings have ground floor, lobby, lower lobby. I've been to some buildings where there was no exit on the first floor. In this case, I assumed 2 was the lobby since it was the lowest number. That was a huge mistake. I had to serve a subpoena to an insurance agent on the 6th floor. The ride felt a bit short for going up 6 floors. The elevator opened at one end of a very narrow corridor. The air was thick. 2 people would not be able to walk shoulder to shoulder. It felt suffocating. There was no window. No noise seems to be coming out from any of the office doors. It was so quiet I could hear the bulb buzzing. Rule 3. Pay attention to the building's layout. I will tell you what I should have noticed later. I knocked on the door of the insurance agent's office, and no one answered. Typical. The narrow corridor starting to make me feel dizzy. I hurried back to the elevator and pressed the arrow down button to get out of here. The elevator door opened. I went in and the numbers were all odd. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. No button for first floor. Rule 4. Always exit the way you came in. If another way presented itself, do not take it. I thought the odd number elevator would get me down to the lobby somehow. So I just pressed on the lowest number there. 3. But nothing happened. Button didn't light up. After the elevator's door closed, I was shocked that I was going up. Did someone call it up? Why did it open on my floor and no one got out? Rule 5. Do not walk into the darkness. It opened to the 13th floor. It was complete darkness. Who called it up here? I started to get nervous. This was all very eerie. I knew I needed to get out of this place as soon as possible. I got back into the elevator, I pressed 3 again, and it lit up this time. As the elevator door was closing, I could feel something was moving in the darkness. Then I heard growling as the door closed. I started to get freaked out. The elevator went down very far. It opened up to a short narrow hallway with just a single door. There wasn't another elevator beside me, only the one I was in. I was surprised by this. One long hallway. To one door. I walked out of the elevator to push the door but it was locked. Rule 6. Always assume the fire exit door is locked. They are not supposed to be locked, but fire escape doors are locked all the time. Businesses are more afraid of thieves than fire. Doing this job, I got stuck at a fire exit all time. What I didn't expect, however, was to turn around and see something that made my heart sink to my feet. There was no button to call the elevator. Rule 7. If there is no signal, go back outside first and call someone to tell them where you are. It could save your life. How was I going to get out of there? I went to the door again. I tried to peek outside through the foggy small rectangular window on the door. I saw a cleaning lady leaning against a window. I was so happy I found someone. I was about to call out to her, when I noticed her odd facial expression. Rule 8. Before approaching someone, look to see what they are doing first. The cleaning lady just stared blankly out the window. Then, suddenly, she snatched a pigeon from the window and began devouring it. She chomped on the bird, hard. The pigeon was almost as big as her head, but she kept chomping and chomping. She then tilted her head up and tried to let gravity help her swallow it. While the bird's wings were flapping and its legs were twitching, she took one more big chomp which caused the bird's body to squirt blood all over her face. Blood also dripped down on her clothes. As soon as she slightly turned my way, I quickly ducked down. To be honest, I almost crapped my pants. What is this place? I was so scared now. I ran back to the elevator, not knowing if the pigeon-eating lady saw me or not. Since there was no button to push, I banged on the elevator hard. Surprisingly, the door opened. I think it never left. Okay, if this is 3, then let's go up one floor, which is 5. I went up to 5, all the while thinking about that lady. Aside from eating live pigeon, her demeanor did not appear human. It was as if she was something else pretending to be human. The 5th floor looked like a carbon copy of the 6th floor. I exited the elevator and headed to the stairway. I walked down only 1 floor and it was a dead end. The stairway just stopped. I ran back up the stairs. I figured, if I'm 1 floor underneath 5th, 4th floor, then if I run up 2 floors, then should be on the 6th floor, right? I got up and saw the sign, 2nd floor. I was so confused and frustrated I wanted to cry. Isn't the 2nd floor supposed to be the lobby? Rule 9, realize when your surrounding is hostile. So far I operated as if this building could be understood if tried. But it was clear now that the building was designed to trap me in it. The fact that none of the floors had any windows in the corridor was by design. I also just realized something. What I did wrong under rule number 3. In the lobby, the elevator was in the middle, yet when it opened up to each floor, it was always at one end of the corridor. With extra elevator appeared on its side. That meant the building was divided in half. And that there might be up to 4 elevators. Only 2 lead to the exit and the other 2 lead to nowhere. Rule 10. If your surrounding is designed to confuse normal people, do something abnormal. I pressed down. An elevator opened up. This one was an odd number 1, and also a decoy. I entered this one and pressed it to go up, but then quickly exited the elevator, then pressed down again, hoping to summon another one. The elevator next to it opened up. This one was even. This was the first one I rode. The lowest number was 2. I pressed it, nothing happened, which made sense in a twisted way because I was already on 2. I pressed 6. And it went down instead of up. Rule 11, backtrack to the area where things started to go wrong the first time. The elevator door opened and I was back on the 6th floor, where the insurance agent's office was at. I remembered when I came up from the real lobby it didn't take me that long to reach this floor. I went to the stairway of this floor and walked down. Then I saw it. The lobby. I could see it through the door. But it was locked. Rule 12, if you see a way out, break anything to get to it. They had no right to trap you in the first place. I know the building was not going to play fair. I smashed the window. Just as I was getting one leg out of the small rectangular hole, I heard the sound of the stairwell door opening very loudly above, and heavy footsteps rushing down. Thinking that the only living thing I had met in this building were the pigeon-eating lady and the angry growling voice on the 13th floor, I did not want to find out which one was coming down and quickly climbed out. So that was a close call. There are some freaky office buildings out there, even in the middle of a crowded city. You see a building with barely any windows that had always been there, you have no idea what's inside. Stay safe. Next story of this video. Posted by u/rule6. Can't fall asleep, or have stayed up too late? Here's some rules you live to see the next day. Now I'm sure you are reading the title and thinking that this sounds crazy. You've gone through many nights laying in your bed, staring at the ceiling, and probably thinking about your life choices. But trust me, you fell asleep before your visitors found you. Luckily now you know that they are there. I have some rules to keep your survival, or sanity unharmed. There are a total of 5 visitors who could visit you on any given night, though the number of how many come to check and make sure you're sleeping vary from just 2 to all 5. It is rumored that 4 out of the 5 of your visitors are male, 1 being a female who will visit you every night. They're rumors due to anyone seeing them either not surviving or having to spend their life in a mental hospital. The most important rule ever, do not under any circumstances reveal to these people that you are awake. They just want to make sure you're sleeping and will attack you if they feel like you're faking it. 2. If you ever are genuinely asleep and they do manage to wake you, don't worry, they can tell the difference if you were woken up from a real and fake sleep. This will cause them to leave and allow you to sleep peacefully again. 3. The first of these visitors is rumored to be a man with no eyes and a blindfold over his face. He will try gently tapping various parts of your body to make sure you're asleep. If he feels or hears you have stirred in your sleep, then he will take out your eyes, blinding you forever. 4. The next visitor's appearance is unknown, and never arrives first, but he will bang on your door, saying to wake up, and listen to hear any reaction at all from you. He will then enter your room and ask any of the other visitors if you moved. They won't answer him verbally. You'll know you're safe if nothing happens for the next 5 to 10 seconds. If caught by him, he will mute you and take away your voice. 5. If you're stuck on a night where you get at least 3 visitors, you'll be guaranteed to encounter a man who looks like he's a doctor. He will come in after the others and will check to see if the way you breathe is slow and relaxed, and will also check your pulse to make sure it isn't high. By now, if you're feeling stressed, Calm down, he will know you're faking it this way. His touch will be cold as well, like how most doctors' gloved hands feel, so try not to flinch when you feel it. If you are caught you will lose either an arm or a leg, you don't get a say either. 6. The fourth visitor is definitely one to be afraid of. He is seen as a well-dressed man, and is pretty smart from the rest of the visitors too, though thankfully he's least likely to show. What he will do is open up your eyes with his hands, sort of like how an annoying younger sibling would do to you if you know what that's like. He'll look into your eyes and if they're focused on him, he'll be able to see right in your soul and for the rest of your life, torment you with nightmares every night of your worst fears. Best thing to do is try to stare off into space to the best of your ability. Don't move your eyes at all, just stare. After about 15 seconds of looking at you he will leave you alone for the rest of the night. 7. I've saved the worst of the visitors for last. She is the only female I mentioned before, who you'll encounter every night, and sadly she is the worst out of them all. She is covered in chains, much like a creepy ghost would be, and you can easily hear them dragging on the floor as she approaches your room. She is also the most ruthless out of the 4 others who come to visit you. The way she checks if you are asleep is by emitting a red light that you can just barely make out through closed eyes. She's also best at sensing fear, so it's best to stay as relaxed as possible when she comes in. Unlike the doctor, she can instantly tell when your heart rate is high, and even when the stress causes you to sweat. Unfortunately, if she discovers you weren't asleep she will give you a most slow, very painful death. She carries a few different blades and scalpels on her too just to make it more torturous. She will always be the last person to arrive, and because she is so proud of her reputation, or so rumored, she refuses help from the other visitors. Once she enters the room, they will all leave, unless she decides to harvest your organs, in which the doctor will happily stay to collect them. I hope these rules can help you survive a few nights where you find yourself alone in your room, laying on your bed trying to fall asleep. Next time think twice about staying on for that last game we all know takes an hour more to do than it should. It just might save your life, limb, or sanity.